continuation. I said something about, oh, here's how I zoom. Okay, the hoods, and I said take them down to bare metal, but actually this part of the hood is not bad. What I'm thinking I have in mind would be the ductwork up there. You can see it's got some issues of just kind of, there's old tape around it, and see if I can zoom in. And then also there's a little bit of discoloration. I don't know what that discoloration is. So that's probably more so than the hoods themselves need a whole lot of work. So they were painted, I'm not sure how long ago. There's a little bit of discoloration up there by the grid. So that just to kind of help spruce up the place. And you can kind of see underneath the hoods what we have going on. It is kind of open there in the back, if you can see that. Okay, and then going around the room, I have got a door here that goes to the outside. We don't use this door, but my thought would be to get a door that actually has, there's glass up there, but a door that was more attractive and that it had glass too, so let some of that sunlight in. This is where I'm actually facing north right now. I'd like an updated periodic table. This one is 1984, I think. And then down here, you kind of see a little bit of clutteredness that I'm hoping that will, if we free up some space in that general storage room next door, that I can find a home for actually these are ring stands. It could be that once we kind of declutter the other parts of the lab, like kind of the drawers that aren't being used, that actually these stands might go, not in a drawer, but like in a cabinet. Just a thought. Back here, this cabinetry looks pretty darn good. You can see one of the things that I said is need to maybe take all the stickers off. That might make it more attractive. If we take the stickers off, probably need to go ahead and come up with some sort of way to remember where everything is. So that's okay, that's what the stickers say. But they do look kind of sloppy. So one other thing was to go ahead and in this field you can see the black box that has the computer stuff in it. A thought would be to go ahead and take that, make it from a box to like a podium. So you can see that, actually I think this cabinet might not have been completed. Those books you see in there are to kind of jack up the computer that is right there on the cart. So there's some improvement that can be made here. Along this wall you see an old projector screen, which I think should come down because I'll show you the new projector screen over here in a minute. And then maybe instead of that whiteboard, could we have a longer whiteboard? It's just a thought, because I've got some a tack board over there and a tack board over here. Maybe make it a more attractive whiteboard. I don't know, just a thought. But over here also you see an old barometer thing on the wall that needs to come down, and there's another one on the other wall. I'm not sure why we got two barometers in this lab, but the mercury thingy that was in there has been removed, but the bracket remains. So I think that screen should go over here. We have a screen that is more centrally located right here. A newer screen that actually then goes with our projector. So I love the projector. Projector needs to stay. We're great because we actually have an Apple TV connected with that projector. So speaking of the ceilings, I don't know. There's definitely some discoloration in these tiles. I think it could go a long way if we try to kind of spruce up the ceiling in this grate right here, which I'm thinking is part of the air exchange, general air exchange. Yep, some discoloration. So that might help spruce up the place. I did indicate lighting would be nice to kind of upgrade our lighting or try to get something that's brighter. So yeah. Now a big thing would be these three lines that you see. So there's of course electrical, gas, and then water in that order. And so this really is an obstruction for seeing students as they are doing their labs. And then just as I'm doing pre-lab or doing any sort of lecture in here, this line of sight is just amazingly annoying. So I went ahead and opened one of these cabinets. I don't know if you can see, but back there obviously is kind of that kind of false wall that kind of hides the, I don't know what's hiding back there. Should be kind of just empty space because the trough is actually above. So it has the sink that carries water down. And I'm fine with keeping the trough sort of deal, obviously, but somehow get those lines down recessed, which I don't know what ideas might be there. Now, I did go ahead and list, I'm fine with the troughs, obviously, but this sink is, again, I'll use the word discoloration, has some stains on it. Replace that, I don't know, maybe even end up, if the shelf goes down, then actually probably we'll do something different with this plumbing. So that's kind of a thought. I'm fine with students simply having access to water at the end of their stations. I think that would work. I'd miss a little bit. I can't remember what we talked about. If we talked about having, right now students actually have access to water each station, but if this goes down, I don't know if we were going to have water here that went into the sink. I can't remember. I think last I heard there was some discussion of maybe having the electrical come from the ceiling. Another thing is these tops they're not really pitted, but they do have some stains, and I don't know if there's any way to kind of resurface our nice black tops. So I mentioned, I'll go over here, I mentioned to maybe relocate this sink into make the chemical storeroom, in addition to storeroom, to be a prep room like a lot of places have. So I measured that width and depth, and actually it would fit. And these are modular, so actually there's a seam there to separate. This is a hood over here and the sink. Okay, so my thought would be that here's the storeroom over here. Oh, and I want a new cart because this one has been painted and sanded and painted once, and it just doesn't fit into my new designed lab. And maybe a new coat rack. So what you're looking at here is actually telescope equipment that will either be accessed or hopefully fit in that storeroom next door. That's important because actually, and I can't remember what my measurements are, but one thought would be to put the sink right here. Now I know the sink over there butts up against on the right side, so I'm not sure how that would work because actually instead of the wall here would be on the left side. But that cabinet then would need to be relocated here. But as you can see, the storeroom, since it's been cleaned out, yay, has a lot of extra room. So I'd love this, have the sink in here if there are standards for such things, I'm sure. And then actually, if possible, maybe relocate the flammable cabinet down there and then also have a prep table. So see what kind of the architects think with regard to how that all works. So I think that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know.